All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I'm back home in the States. But I do want to bring this up right here. I've been paying attention to the news ever since the Supreme Court has passed into at least what they say law, that all 50 states must comply with the Gay Rights Marriage Act, or they must provide licenses to them. Well, you knew that some counties and states were going to posture like this and actually be against it. And I'm going to tell you right now, we are at a crossroads and a standstill right now, because while a lot of states have consented to the federal government, and according to the Constitution, they have to consent, because the actual federal government trumps state law. And most people don't know that. And they really, there's a lot of things that people need to learn about the law of this land. Now, there's a bunch of things that can go on. I guess the states could actually incite a revolution, because I'm going to tell you what the posture of the federal government is. It's the same thing when they moved in the tanks and moved in the National Guard, when they forced them to actually make it not a law in the state of Utah that polygamy is legal. It's the same thing that the federal government always does. Whenever there's a problem, they call in the National Guard and they muscle people. It's the same way they did in Alabama when they refused to enlist these children into their school system because of segregation. They bought in the big guns. They bought in the National Guard. So this is what happens in our country right here. Anytime the states do not comply, the same thing the federal government does with the states, the same way that it does with countries. The first thing they start doing is putting sanctions on them. Then they tell them what you can and cannot do. And of course, then if the governor, he'll put up a little fight for a little while, but if the governor turns around and puts up a little resistance and stuff, they'll bring in the feds, the National Guard, and the guns and the firepower, in this country right here, and they will force you at gunpoint to change your position. And that's what's really going on, and that's what's going to happen to all these counties, these individual counties refusing this, because what's happening is you're forcing people to go against their conscience and to go against their religious conviction. Of course, what is also the solution to this coming from the feds' mind. Well, if you don't like it, quit your job, and we'll get somebody else in here, homosexuals, gays, lesbians, transgenders, bisexuals, to do the job for you. And that's ultimately what it's going to come down to. But like I said before, a lot of you Christians, you're getting ready to acquiesce, or you're getting ready to pay a serious price, which many of you don't have the stomach nor the intestinal fortitude to actually stand on any truth whatsoever at all. So you can gripe, growl, squall, bitch, complain, and do whatever you have to do and stuff. But at the end of the day, you're going to bow down, because, you have to understand, if you've already been learned and been taught to trump y'all's laws, statutes, and commandments, and get rid of the Sabbath day and make the swine divine, what makes you think you're going to stand on something like this? You're going to find out that many of your convictions that many of you people have out there, they're not convictions at all. They just tradition and religion, because if it really truly was a conviction, you can't be moved from it. If it really truly was a conviction, that's the time that you go to the grave, or either you fight standing or you die trying. But so many people don't understand this type of attitude and position, but we're being muscled, literally muscled by the federal government, muscled by laws to go against our religious conviction. What happened to our rights? And that's what you need to be saying. What happened to our rights? What about our rights of freedom of religion? What about our rights of freedom to pursue happiness and liberty? What about our rights to be objectively disagreeable and consciously dissent against any forms of alternative lifestyles and marriages, which is not biblical based? What about that? Well, the state say that's fine and good. You can do that. Now hand your job over. And that's ultimately what's going to come to. And if you notice that past history in this country, all states, all of them bow down, all of them acquiesce, all of them have thick knee pads on. They will turn eventually. And the gays are going to win this. So the federal government postures itself, and it actually does with the states the same way it does with sovereign countries. Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Korea, Vietnam, they trump up stuff. you know what I mean? They just literally trump up stuff and got you people thinking that they really care about the general welfare and being of other people in other nations. When the truth is, this is all about resources. So you get the news media up there doing that little dog and pony show, and then you people get mesmerized because of the way they talk, not knowing that these people are double forked-tongued serpents. That's what they are. You can't trust a reporter to actually tell you the truth when it comes to report. They're there to sway public opinion. And I wish you'd wake up and learn something from it. That's exactly what they're there for, is to sway public opinion. And it's easy to sway many of you people because you don't know the truth anyway. So it's a sad situation in this country that many people going to put up just a little plea, a little fight. That's about it. That's about how it's going to go. But they will turn. They will turn. And they will issue these licenses, and they will give it to them because they want to keep their job. I tell you, people in this country don't know how to protest. I told you. If we want to protest these high gas prices, nobody buy gas in this country for 6 months. That's how you protest high gas prices. But you ain't going to do that because as soon as your job is at stake and as soon as your modern conveniences are taken away, you're not going to do that. You're simply not going to do it. You just don't have the stomach nor the intestinal fortitude to make a stand. That would be our kind of siege right there, is to use lobbying power. But again, you can't even get, I'm driving on a road right here in Tennessee, a road that goes to the community. It's amazing. And there's probably about 5, maybe 6 missionary Baptist churches on this road. Did y'all hear what I said? All of them the same flavor and everything. But you know the reason why they can't come together? Because of personal vendettas, family feuds. Somebody may have a little bit twist here in the doctrine, or somebody may have a little bit twist there, and they've done a good job at dividing us. They've done a good job at dividing you. They know how to lie and then get you to turn. They know how to falsify information and give an evil report, a false report, and they know how to submit evil thoughts to the mind and the conscience, and then next thing you know, your mind gets to thinking. Your mind gets to, you can't think straight. Oh God, and the thoughts won't leave your head. And the devil just keeps on over and over and over again. You fight to disbelieve it, but you can't help but to believe it. And the next thing you know, you go and question somebody about something you have no business questioning them about. That's how weak your character is. That's you know what I'm saying? That's you. That's you. Many of you, the majority of you. And I guess where I get off, or people make me an enemy because they simply can't stomach and handle the truth. The truth is painful. And I told you, at first, when you hear the truth, the first thing it should do, and it will do, is literally piss you off. Because if you have any substance about you whatsoever at all, you would be highly upset. You would be mad as hell, and then you want to go do something about it. Because, you know, I mean, after all, you did think more highly of yourself than to sit up here and be abused and lied to. You thought that you had a fast mind. You thought you was quite educated. I mean, you had a high lofty opinion of yourself that other people didn't share. And then you found out that people were lying to you, using and abusing you. And man, I tell you, we have lost honor in this country. Now, guess what? Now the pedophiles said they want their rights. They sure did. They all going to start banding together. They said they want the Supreme Court to grant them sexual rights and sexual favors to little boys. You know, in the United States of America, and I've talked about this even over 20 years ago, that there's an organization in this country called NAMBLA, and that's called North American Man-Boy Love Association. And this association has been there for a long time. And many of these sick politicians love boys. I'm telling you, I know that people say, no, they ain't gonna do that. That's where we're gonna draw the line. And I said, no, you ain't. You said that about the gays. When in the 60s, it used to be considered a sickness. They did, a disease. Well, now the disease has got everybody with a diseased mind, thinking that it's an acceptable form of lifestyle. You can see that these people don't care nothing about the Bible. Don't give me and tout me this mess about the founding fathers and the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and how they love God. If they did, then they wouldn't have put all these loopholes in the Constitution. These people were Freemasons. You understand? Do you understand? They want to put all these loopholes in the competition, in the Constitution, excuse me, allowing people later on, when they knew that the decline of the society is coming. Why in the world do you think they wrote it in the first place? Constitution was actually written to defend us against a tyrannical government. That's what it was. But in order for those rights to be defended, you got to be willing to bear arms. I know. In the United States of America, we're so dumb, dormant, docile, and demoralized that people just simply ain't tired enough of sin, iniquity, and transgression to scream, holler, and plow, and cry, and do whatever else they need to do in order to affect change. So guess what? You might as well get used to it. And I got another news source. I'm going to go ahead and prophesy to the wind again. We are going from bad to worse. You think it's bad now. You ain't seen nothing yet. You have not seen nothing yet. You think you're crying now. Man, this cry ain't nothing. You have not seen nothing yet. You get ready for the ride of your life. Because I like to see when the people in this country is going to come together, because it's obvious that we did not elect these officials, these so-called elected representatives that have been selected by the powers that be. It's obvious that we did not put these people in office because they are not representing the best interest of the majority in the United States. And don't get me wrong, in a constitutional republic, the majority cannot take the rights of one. Do you understand that? But in a democracy, you seeing that? In a democracy, huh? And you can't say that we even function in a democracy, even though they mesmerize you with that stupid term that nobody seems to understand, but they just ignorantly accept. Go back in my videos and get the understanding of it. It's just amazing. But I tell you what, there's a lot of knee dragging, knuckle dragging, and bowing down going on right now. So I like to see what you Romans 13 Christians think about the powers that be that is ordained of Yah. You know, the ones you voted for. Hey, because after all, they are ordained of Yah. So you shouldn't be bitching in the first place. I mean, after all, according to your religious beliefs, the powers that be are ordained of Yah. And when these civil government, civil authorities come, you don't sit there and protest and rebel against civil authority. No, you don't. You acquiesce. You actually obey them. That's what you do. And you be happy. And you go to church and say, you know what? The Most High has actually changed the laws to suit the homosexuals, and don't worry, be happy. Woo! Don't worry. Woo! Be happy. Woo! Don't worry, be happy now. The whole country is nothing but a joke. You Christians are more than broke. Don't worry. Hey! Oh my, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. We're going from bad to worse. Get ready. Unless you're willing to do something about it.